Hey. Welcome back to everybody. Welcome back to everybody, and welcome to people who haven't been to my channel. You guys see the title of today's video. You guys know what's going on. I've seen some people do videos like this before. I wanted to talk about the 22 best books that I read in 2022. I'm just going to be looking at my shelves and boom, deciding right on the spot because I feel like that's the most genuine. Let's freaking get into it. Vlogmas day 10, everybody. 2 more days after this, and it's over. Not sponsored, but should be. It's hard. Actually, this is going to be hard because I want to start from the bottom to the top. Anyway, I'm actually going to start from number 1 and we're going to go down to 22. The first 4 books are going to be very easy. If you know me, my absolute favorite book that I have read this year that changed my life. I'm going to give you guys a second. It's like if you guys don't know what book I'm about to hold up, I drag this into the ground with how often I talk about it, but A Court of Mist and Fury. I literally got these little like page things for them. Iconic scene. I just need you guys to look at it. There's like different chapters and pages that have illustrations. Hello, Feyre, darling. This was my favorite book that I read this year. This is the second book in the ACOTAR series. It is a series by Sarah J. Maas, basically about, they're called Fae, which are kind of like fairies. It's a whole entire universe that you build up, and I am absolutely in love with it. But that being said, my number 2 book of the year is ACOWAR, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series. This book is so drama-filled. This one focuses more on like the politics. I'm gonna tell you guys, it's called ACOWAR for a reason. My 3rd favorite book of the year was A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the 1st book in the ACOTAR series. My 4th favorite book of the year is A Court of Silver Flames. So basically, these took the top 4 spots in my whatever, but in that specific order, those are like the order of how I love this series, and I cannot wait for more books to come out. My number 5 book. So these are my top 5 books. The 5th book that I loved this year in 2022 was Binding 13. Guess what? Keeping 13 was my 6th. So this is my 5th and 6th book. This follows Johnny and Shannon. Actually, both books follow Johnny and Shannon. This book takes place kind of at this private school, and you follow Shannon. She is like the main character. You also follow Johnny. You also get a glimpse into their big friend group, and it is a found family set in high school. Such a close-knit group of friends, and they're all super there for each other. They're just so, it literally gave me the best vibes to read about a friend group that's there for each other through thick and thin and would literally do anything for each other. Please, please, please read them. I know that they are very intimidating, and I know that the covers aren't the best. It just felt like I was just watching someone else's life. Like I was reading someone else's life, and I felt like I was there. The 7th and 8th spot is going to have to go to number 7, Thrive, number 8, Addicted for Now. Oh no, Addicted After All. These are the last 2 books in the Addicted series. And as we all know, Lily and Lo are just one of my favorite book couples literally to ever exist. By the point that you're reading these books, the characters have just gone through so much and grown so much, and I absolutely love reading it. 9 has to go to the Bad Reputation duet, and I'm just counting this as 1 because this is actually a bind up of the 2 books, whatever it takes and wherever you are. This follows Willow and Garrison, who are characters that you see later on into the Addicted and Calloway Sister series. I fell for Willow and Garrison so hard. These 2 as characters I also love because I felt that they were very, very similar to Lily and Lo. And I feel like I don't see enough people talk about the Bad Reputation duet. Number 10 has to be Vow of Thieves. Now, I'm trying to separate them and not do too many series. It is the best enemies to lovers I have ever read in my whole entire life. It was absolutely amazing. Specifically this book because this is the 2nd book in the duology of Dance of Thieves, and then you have this book. Everything that happens in this book, the angst in this book because of stuff like how Dance of Thieves ends and how this one starts. I was literally just like flipping through the pages the whole entire time. You kind of get that feeling of like, oh my god, because there's like, you're reading both the characters' point of views, and like they don't know something important that they should know, and it's the same for the other character, and you're just reading it and you're like, oh no. With both of these books, you understand why it's called Dance of Thieves, and then you understand why it's called Vow of Thieves. I can't. Oh yeah, this has to be number 11. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I feel like I don't give this book the proper hype that it deserves. I know that this book, actually no, I know that this book is super hyped up. Like, it's very hyped. And it's actually, I was actually surprised because I looked up Hannah Grace, you know, how she said anything about the rest of the series. Like, I'm really wanting the second book. Pretty sure, but I don't know for sure, that this is her first book. And this is a pretty outstanding, like, outbreak for your first book. I cannot wait for the rest of the series. If you guys don't know, it is basically about, it's a hockey romance. So it's a sport hockey romance. He is a hockey player and she is this figure skater, and some things go down at their college. She has to, like, start skating at the hockey rink instead of at the ice rink, and they kind of just start going back and forth, and it is a reverse Grumpy Sunshine. He is like a golden retriever and she's the one that's grumpy. So if you like that, where the guy is a golden retriever, you will also love that. I feel that number 12 would have to be Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I cannot wait. Things We Hide from the Light. This is a book that had the book community by storm this year. This was one of the best, like, this was one of the most hyped up books of the year, and for good reasoning. I feel I had such a good time reading this book. This is a small town romance that is a Grumpy Sunshine, kind of, and it's like a single mom, but she's not a mom, she's like the aunt. Things kind of get thrown in her lap. There's some drama. It's a very small town, close-knit vibe where, like, everyone knows everybody, but everyone cares about everybody. Number 12, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. We know I'm an Emily Henry stan. I love Emily Henry and I love her books. I think a lot of people critique on this one was that it didn't really focus a lot on the romance. Like, the romance wasn't everything. And am I somebody that also annoys me? Yes, because I feel that when I pick up a romance, I'm reading it for the romance. I'm not really reading it for much else. But I will say that I really liked the subplot about the sisters. I don't have a sister, so I don't know how that feels. So sometimes I like reading about, like, stuff like that when I don't know it, I don't experience it myself. I thought that it was a very heartwarming part. I will say, I love Charlie Lastra. I was obsessed with Charlie Lastra for the summer of 2022. Emily Henry's banter is literally top tier. If you guys love good banter in a book and you haven't picked up an Emily Henry book, or you haven't picked up this one, I feel like this is the most that her banter has shown through in her 3 books that she has. I cannot wait for Happy Place. Number 13, As Good as Dead. This is the 3rd book in the Good Girls Guide to Murder trilogy, which, if you guys don't know what that is, I feel like it's one of the OG Book Talk books. I feel that it was giving a insight into Pip's mind and where she is at with all of the trauma that she has had to face throughout all of her life so far. The ending felt like a whirlwind to me of what is going on, and not in a good way. Not in the, like, oh my god, what's going on? Well, like, I was very intrigued. I was like flipping through the pages, but I just wish there was more of a solid, like, pinpoint ending, especially after you build up relationships, you build up friendships and everything, and it kind of felt a little open-ended. And also just some things that happened towards the end of the book, I didn't understand why it had to happen that way. But I'm not the author. This isn't my story. It's just, like, you know, it's annoying when someone who didn't spend hours and months and years writing something and goes, that's not how I would have ended it. But I was just like, oh wow, I didn't think that's where it was going. But I think the main problem was that it ended a little open-ended. Part of me doesn't even think that this is in order. I think I'm just grabbing books. So it was in order. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm changing it. So, like, if you guys are wondering, this isn't in order. These are just, like, 22 books that were my favorite in 2022. Anyway, One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love this book because I think about these quotes at least a couple times a week. Specifically this one. Falling out of love with someone you still like feels exactly like lying in a warm bed and hearing the alarm clock. No matter how good you feel right now, you know it's time to go. The next book that I'm going to talk about is The Inheritance Games. I would love to talk about the trilogy, but I think honestly my favorite book in the whole entire series was the first book. If you guys still haven't picked up The Inheritance Games, I'm going to tell you guys to do so, especially if you are in a reading slump. This is a book that I recommend to get you out of a reading slump because it has subplots of romance. It's a mystery with short chapters, keeps your attention. You literally feel like you're almost like reading and playing a game of Clue, and it was just such a fun series to read. But especially the first book, I remember just having so much fun reading it. The next book that I have is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I loved Rowan and Zara. I loved the type of person Zara was, and I loved the person that Rowan started becoming with Zara, slowly unraveling himself and is not as grumpy but still is like a hard exterior. And I like that when the guy still kind of has their hard exterior but they're not like this grumpy shut out to the world type. So I feel like that did it really, really well, and I really loved this one. The next book that I have is Bittersweet Memories. I feel like I literally have not talked about this book for a to be one of my favorite books of the year, but it definitely is. This book is a very unique storyline where usually I don't like the trope, which I'm not going to say the trope because it's a spoiler, but it is a very big part of the book, that I feel like I really liked it and how it worked in this book. I feel like it was very, very well done, and I loved the way that the book started up, builds up to this plot, and then the way it happens afterwards. I had just such a good time reading it, and I feel like I don't talk enough about it. Next, I have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I feel like I had all of the tropes of a good like rom-com movie. It was such a cute story about high school and their neighbors. I love that at the beginning of every single chapter you get a quote from a rom-com, and like I am a rom-com junkie, okay? I have watched so many rom-coms. I've loved rom-coms for years, and so I loved that touch that had. The next book that I have is Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington, and I feel that this book dealt very, very heavily with mental health, did it in such a good way that I appreciated, and also I loved the storyline and connections that are made and like subplots that happen in this book. There's a lot of stuff in this book that honestly you don't know going into it. The story is pretty vague. Just know that it is so good, and I really, really loved it. I feel like the characters were pretty unique, and I really liked the storyline, and there's a lot for everybody to enjoy within this book. My favorite thriller that I read this year was definitely Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. No other thriller this year, which granted I didn't read a lot, no other thriller has made me feel the way that this one has made me feel. I couldn't predict a single twist in this book, and it was so good. I just wanted to keep reading. The format and the writing of this book was so good. I really enjoyed that as well. I feel like this is a very fast read as well, so if you're into thrillers, you need a fast read, I would definitely recommend Rock, Paper, Scissors. I'm gonna end off this video with some pretty sad reads. First, we have Pack Up the Moon. I hide this on my bookshelf because this book completely crushed me, good and bad ways. The love that is in this book and how pure it is, and to read about it, it just makes your heart ache. It deals very, very heavily with grief. Another Wreck, which is also the last one, if you want to break your heart, then I would recommend you reading If He Had Been With Me. I have just finished this book a few days ago, and it's all I've been thinking about. And it doesn't help that the author just literally yesterday posted that she is doing a book from the guy's perspective. And like, I don't know if I can do it. The ending of this book had my jaw on the floor, even though you kind of know what's gonna happen when you start it. It's just like you want so badly for it to change, for there to be like a plot twist, and it's like, psych, that didn't really happen. Like, I was kind of waiting for that because I was like, okay, maybe that's like what's gonna happen. This book is all I've been thinking about for literal days. If you want that feeling of like a sad, soul crushing, this is all I can think about for days, I'm staring at the wall and all I'm thinking about is these certain quotes from this book, then this is definitely the book for you. Okay guys, so those are 22 of my favorite books that I read in 2022. This video, kind of all over the place. I am not very good at sitting down videos. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, you guys know what to do, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff that you guys know how to do. I hope you guys are enjoying BOOKMAS thus far. It is almost over. I literally can't believe that it is December 10th. I literally can't believe that. This month is flying by. I don't know if it's just for me or for you guys as well. I don't know if it's because I've just been so wrapped up in like doing content every day, uploading every day, but it's been a lot. It's been flying by. I hope you guys are doing good. I know it is finals time, and I've seen a lot of you reach out to me and say how much my videos are helping you guys through finals. I just want to tell you guys that that makes me so freaking emotional when you guys tell me things like that, because I remember being that person that just like every day, and while I was doing homework, while I was studying for finals in high school, coming back to watch my favorite YouTubers Vlogmas, and I guess it's just crazy to be that for other people and for people to even care to watch my videos. So just know that I am rooting for all of you guys through finals or anything that you guys are going through right now. I know the holidays can be a hard time for a lot of people. Just know that I love and appreciate all of you guys, and I hope you guys are having a great day, and if not, I hope it gets better for you guys. I love you guys so much. I will see you guys when I see ya. Peace.